For over 30 years, Bob Halapin's Letter Dynamics has taught students with reading and learning disabilities how to read, write, and spell.
We've had a lot of fun over the past many months using Letter Dynamics.
They want to learn how to read, how to break down the words, and I think it's incredibly important that we keep this up.
It has really been an exciting program for children.
It retrains your brain to think in a different way.
I applaud it. I appreciate the program.
Bob has been a very precious resource to me for 30 years.
Especially me slowing down, but actually I read it faster.
He goes to sleep at night comfortable and happy to get up in the morning and be able to go to school and do his work.
I've been working with Bob Halapin for quite some time, and I've found that his program in reading and learning is quite extraordinary. What I have noticed from it is that the children seem to learn processing as opposed to just how to read. So it becomes really a life skill of learning how to think, how to organize information. Bob Halapin's reading program uses the motor system in conjunction with vision.
I think it's a wonderful program. The kids really enjoy it. It's fun, it's easy. I strongly believe that there are children who learn to read through writing, and this program definitely makes that connection. They take their phonics and apply it to their writing. The other day, I noticed one of the students was having trouble sounding out a word, and what he did, he immediately went to Letter Dynamics and figured it out. It started with the vowel, and then went one. I mean, he did this all on his own. He was thinking, and he came up with the word. It was fabulous.
My primary teachers, especially my first and second grade teachers, really became excited about the program. I don't think the children realize that it's an actual academics because it's involving their body, their hands. They think it's a fun thing to do. But parents are always pleased when their children have reached success.
Some years ago, I met Bob Halapin when he was working with Dr. Richard Appel, who then was director of the visual department here at the Institute. Dr. Appel is a unique person, very insightful in understanding how children interpret the world differently as they take in information visually. This is one of the things that Bob has been able to bring to the world of reading, to understand that not all children, adults, learn in the same way.
As you can tell, I'm an advocate of the Bob Halapin system. I've worked with him, I've seen his system work with children. I've also worked with him in conjunction with vision therapy. And I've found that the combination approach is very effective in helping children utilize the visual system in a developmental nature as it was made to be used. One of the other components to it is that it gives the child the ability to create movement, not just through the motor system, but through the visual process. It lets the child anticipate change, and it establishes a momentum by which the child can organize the ambient system first, as opposed to focalizing on the detail.
About 2 years ago, I met a student who was going into 5th grade who didn't even know his letters. And I was a little worried about having him as a student, and I started Bob's Letter Dynamics program with him. And he just blossomed. In 2 years, he went from just knowing a few letters to going to a 3.5 grade level. What this student said to me was, "Oh, well, this is how you read. Why didn't they just tell me that? It's easy, now I understand." He can read now, and he's happy that he can go out in restaurants and read from a menu.
It took an hour for him to do a single sentence because by the time he would read a word and go over to the next page, he had forgotten or could not remember what that word was. When I picked him up during the test, he was literally in the fetal position. I had to literally carry him to the car. He was just a ball of flesh. And if I had not seen it myself, I would have never have guessed that he was this disabled.
He's a much happier, more confident child that even reads at night before he goes to bed, and he tells me that is a calming effect for him.
As a specialist in diagnostic assessment of children with learning problems, Bob has been a very precious resource to me for 30 years. When I see children who can respond to the traditional educational interventions, the language-based, multisensory approaches, but there are other children who need what Bob has, which is this way to combine the sound language aspects of reading with the physical motoric component to really stabilize it for the child.
Bob Halapin introduced me to a different way of teaching youngsters to read. Kids who just couldn't learn to read when they use visual relationships. And Bob has been very successful in what he does because he's doing what reading is all about. Reading is visual, and he's teaching them visually to read. And this has more meaning than anything else.
Every child approaches reading differently. We're all wired differently. And reading left to right is not necessarily what's right for all. So suddenly, instead of being sedentary and sitting in a chair, this very physical little girl is walking on a vowel mat saying ah, a, using her body to help her learn. All of that energy went into helping her learn how to read. So I so favor what he does. I applaud it. I appreciate the program.
I think probably one of the best ways to describe the program is that it offers for youngsters who cannot sit, attend, process, and integrate the opportunity to use movement in a very positive way.
And it's really one of the only reading systems and learning systems that I know about that works in conjunction with vision and motor.
What letter dynamics does is it retrains your brain to think in a different way and use your whole body.
The two teachers that are actively involved in it are very excited about the program. It's given them another tool to reach the broader range of children.
From what I learned, they're wired a little differently, and one size does not fit all, and you have to work to find how you can connect with the way these kids process.
I'm so pleased that Bob has found a way to communicate his program and distribute it so teachers and parents and learning therapists can be able to use it more broadly. There's so many children and only one Bob.
So what may be strange to someone who's not really familiar with the program, for many people is their salvation.
So it's a multisensory approach and kids love it. It's fun.
Some of the parents have commented to me how much more successful they think their children are.
It's fun, it's simple, and they've learned a lot.
And can't say enough nice things about it.
But the success rate has been very, very impressive.
We're very pleased.
I found the program fun to use, the kids loved it, it worked, and it fit right into the curriculum that we already had in place.
The end result is successful reading.
That's easy.